The reason for Gable Steveson and other WWE releases has been revealed. A former AEW talent has been backstage at TNA Tapings recently, and an ex-WWE star wins a TNA title. Find out who it was in a little bit. Now, a few weeks ago, NXT releases were confirmed by WWE, namely Gable Steveson as part of that big release pool. Now, Fightful Select have given a little bit of background as to how or why those releases went down, Adam.
Absolutely, 11 releases in total happening. Fightful's report states there was some confusion regarding the NXT next-gen recruits that were let go from their deals. Fightful Select was able to confirm that the recruits' deals with the promotion began following the taping of the show, but were not allowed to announce their signings until the show aired a few weeks ago. With regard to some of the TV names that were released, Valentina Feroz and Boa have both struggled with injuries in recent months, with the NXT talent that Fightful spoke to expressing that the two talents didn't get consistent shots to show what they were capable of due to said injuries. Trey Bearhill, mentioned here, was a release that surprised several that Fightful contacted in NXT, ranging from talent to production and other roles within the brand. Those that they spoke to dismissed the idea that Bearhill was released due to his similarities with fellow Native American Eddie Thorpe, which is something that a lot of fans were speculating on. They were too similar.
And it's a weird thing because Trey Bearhill is just a slightly bigger version than Eddie Thorpe. It would have been worked as like Trey being the heater for Eddie if you needed a heater to begin with.
Yeah, for sure. I thought he was showed a lot of potential actually.
Yeah.
Obviously, Gable Steveson was a big surprise because they invested so much money and time into him and made such a big deal out of him. But out of the other releases, Trey Bearhill for me was the one that was like, oh, that's okay.
Not only a Bearhill by name, but a Bearhill by nature, because he literally looked like he was made out of a mountain of bears. A big, hairy man that should have worked in WWE but didn't. Obviously, it's heartbreaking to hear about Valentina Feroz and Boa as well. Boa, part of a spooky stable for a while, then he wasn't. He was just involved in backstage bits, just sort of hanging around in the background, which didn't really go anywhere. Valentina was promised a great time by Sanga and never followed through. Sanga, the arsehole, a spiritual experience. So it's a shame to hear about the injuries getting in the way of that one. As for Gable Steveson, what? Sanga as the spiritual man was a great NXT gimmick.
No, I totally forgot about that, yeah.
Fightful are also saying that there was no surprise about Gable Stevenson's release, saying Gable Stevenson's release didn't surprise several of those within NXT that they spoke to, with one talent pointing to the difference in development from Stevenson's brother, Damon Kemp of the Diamond Mine, and the new Quarter Catch crew more recently, and Stevenson. Those that we spoke to were of the belief that if a lack of progression and not his previous trouble with the law that factored into his WWE release. That's a big thing we've heard coming out of Gable Stevenson's release, is his just general attitude in and around the Performance Center.
Yeah, so it is confusing still because they did make such a big deal out of him, and I thought they were just going to soldier on despite all of the controversy and everything. I thought they were just going to, and 2 weeks before the release happened, he did an interview, and it shows don't believe everything you hear, because he said, oh, they're really happy with my progress, I'm really happy with my progress. Literally a fortnight on, he's gone.
Yeah, that WrestleMania was 2 years ago, over 2 years ago, and he didn't really do anything of note.
Oh, he was drafted to Raw.
Oh, he did nothing, did he? Whereas his brother, he had a big feud with, it was Dijak, where I think they had the ambulance match, if my memory serves me correctly. It might not be this fine Monday morning, but Damon Kemp is obviously part of the Diamond Mine, and then the new Quarter Catch crew has definitely shown a lot more than Gable Steveson ever promised to do, just on a television basis, that is.
Yeah, for sure. He just he wasn't all that. I think he was a charismatic guy. I think when they were showing him at WrestleMania and stuff, it was like, okay, he looks like he could be a star. But then you see him work, and I don't think he did show the improvement that he should have done in the time that he was there. It's not for everyone, is it?
Yeah. It's not for everybody. Who it is for is Cora Jade, and she has made some kind of return at an NXT live event in Fort Pierce, Florida over the weekend. She appeared in the ring and cut a promo saying that she's basically a few months away from a big return to do the wrestling, but it's nice to see her all the same.
She just lives there, doesn't she? She's just popped in. It's a nice little surprise. I'd love to go to one of these NXT live events or a TV taping.
You know the one you want to go to, Adam? It's the Halloween one, where they all do the battle royal where they dress up with everybody else's gimmicks.
Oh, right.
So you might get a Cora Jade dressed up as a boa, for example.
Do they still do that?
Oh, I think so. I hope so.
Yeah, because when I watched like NXT recently for the podcast, it always strikes me the thing that I like about NXT the most, and there's not much that I like about NXT.
Come on now, it takes you back to the 90s, Adam, where the crap gimmicks live. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I get that. The thing I like the most is the crowd are really, really passionate about it, and it's the same faces week in, week out, and you never know who's going to turn up. Anyway, Cora Jade's there. She's recovering from an ACL injury, as you say. She's a few months away from returning. Do you see her as a women's champ?
Big time.
Yeah,
the one thing that she needs to work on, which I guess is what they're doing by getting her out of these live events like this one here, is her promos. She's cut a couple of long promos where, you know, the sort of show starts, someone comes out for a 10-15 minute monologue, and she sort of poos the bed a bit there. But apart from that, it's all there. It's all there with Cora Jade.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. A former WCW champion has won a championship. Not a WCW champion, a guy who held a belt within WCW back in the day. Who the hell is it, Adam?
He's the stuff. It's Buff Bagwell, once again becoming a champ this weekend, winning the Memphis Wrestling Tag Team title alongside Big John Dalton. It's his first match since October 2022. It's come after he's obviously turned his life around. He had a lot of struggles with addiction and everything. When saw DDP saved another man's life, essentially. And yeah, congratulations to Buff.
Big time, yeah. A couple of nights. Why are you laughing at? It's a lovely, wholesome story. There's a couple of nice documentaries on DDP affiliated YouTube channels where Marcus Buff Bagwell and also Scotty Riggs. Scotty Riggs gets his life and his teeth back. It's fantastic.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, so DDP's a good man.
You got a favourite Buff Bagwell match?
It's all about the entrance, isn't it? Just the cavalcade of Buff is the stuff walking down the ring. American males, obviously.
Yeah.
I honestly couldn't tell you, Adam. Your favourite Buff Bagwell match?
Oh, the big ones.
This guy's a tenured wrestling legend and we can't name one match. Everyone just thinks about that one with Booker T when they were auditioning WCW on the WWF.
The Raw main event that got the show cancelled.
Yeah. That wasn't their fault, was it?
No. He's decent. Congratulations to him. No, it is a heartwarming story, and he's sorted himself out and everything, and the fact that he's back in the ring doing stuff, first time since 2022, good for him.
Yeah, and he's also got a 2024 Men's Wrestling Award from the Cauliflower Alley Club. So that's all coming up Buff Bagwell this year.
Certainly is.
Yes,
stuff.
It is. A former AEW talent has been backstage at Impact or TNA Tapings in more recent times. This once again is from Fightful, who are saying Jose the Assistant was at the TNA Tapings in Newport, Kentucky over the weekend. While he was there, he met with Tommy Dreamer for unspecified reasons.
I love that. Unspecified reason. He's looking for a job. Best of luck to him, right? I quite like him.
My favourite thing about Jose, the assistant in AEW, is no matter what the physical altercation was in the ring, he had to take his shirt off to show you he had muscles.
Yeah, he certainly did.
Every single time. Because he didn't get to do too much alongside Rush and Andrade and all that sort of stuff. But whenever he did, the muscles came out at him, and I appreciate that.
For sure. Best of luck to him. I hope he gets a job there. Because, I think he'd be quite handy to have there.
Yeah, I can't really comment. I didn't really see too much of him.
No,
he wasn't used too much in AEW, was he?
No, not massively.
Yeah. I'm sure he'd be fine. And finally, an ex-WWE star wins a TNA title at the L Tapings there. So if you want to avoid some spoilers, please go away now. It's been lovely to see you. Come back later for video 2 on the channel. Fightful are reporting that the former top dollar AJ Francis defeated Laredo Kid to become the TNA Digital Media Champion last night as we're sat here at the TNA Tapings in Newport, Kentucky. This is AJ's first title in TNA. What Joe Hendry will have to say about this, I am intrigued to see.
It's absolutely outrageous. I actually, you know what? I like AJ Francis. I like Top Dollar. I think he's a charismatic man. I wouldn't want to be in the ring with him or anything, but I think he's a charismatic guy who just has a certain presence about him. And I think this is quite a good fit for him. It's not a super serious belt or anything. And I reckon he can have a little bit of a laugh, and especially like feeding it back round to the Hendry stuff, who is the longest reigning champion with that belt. Good for him.
He's an effective heel, isn't he?
He is an effective heel.
A big effective heel.
A big effective heel.
That's all I've got to say about Top Dollar. No, not horror. Whatever line he used to say as part of Hit Row back in the day. That's what they used to do. Anyway, that's it for News Video 1. As I said earlier, if you're still here, come back for News Video 2. I've been Ross, joined by Adam, and we'll see you very soon.